Hey guys, so this is going to be a ramble of thoughts on Jurassic World Chaos Theory, but overall I thought it was really, really good. Um, with this entry being 2 years after Jurassic World Dominion, the end of an era, it was kind of strange after all these years of just getting Jurassic content and then, this lull, we're getting a new movie. We'll see how that new era will actually take place and everything. So we'll see how things go for that. But with chaos theory, it's nice to kind of explore a time frame that is in between Fallen Kingdom and Dominion. So just kind of going through each episode, I kind of took notes as I was watching each one. So with the first one, I watched that during the Roblox event that happened the week prior to this release, and it was exciting to just kind of see, the tonal shifts and everything. It's more mature, and the lighting, the animation, I felt like everything was really up to this time. Um, and basically, I think moving on to the second episode, there were just kind of some interesting things. There were some post-it notes on Ben's wall in his truck, and just kind of hinting towards things like Manticore's secret underwater lab. I forget if that was something that was mentioned in Camp Cretaceous, um, but I think there's a lot of opportunity to kind of see if that relates to the Mosasaur or something else later down the line. They also hint towards Dominion's locusts. I know it's a bit of a controversial take, but I think it's very important about genetic power being unleashed. It doesn't have to mean just dinosaurs. Genetic power, if used in the wrong hands, it can, do a lot of damage if not handled properly. And then a big shaving cream behind it all. That was pretty funny. And then I laughed out loud when Ben tossed Darius's phone. Like, sure, they could track both of them, but like, it's possible they could find another way to, resolve that issue. Um, and then what really struck out to me the first time was the frame rate change and the aspect ratio change. I thought it would be like a movie would be really fun for this. I know DreamWorks has kind of dabbled with that, especially with I think that Spirit kind of spin-off. I don't know if it's actually tied to the continuity, but they did do a theatrical release for that show. So I feel like they could experiment with that, with Chaos Theory. I think it could work. I think it's the demographics there. It could work. Um, and then kind of moving into this third episode. Um, what is it? So I think with Sammy, I feel like she was deflecting a lot, with her internal struggles and everything, appropriately so. And then it got gutsy with some of the deaths. I did not expect them to go that hard with some of these character fatalities, especially with the Atrociraptors chasing them. Um, really up the suspense, and I thought it was also neat to see like yeah the camp fam. They're taking active measures to like not do any silly mistakes when they're trying to escape these dinosaurs. It just happens to be like something just falls and like they can't do anything about it. Um, and Bumpy, helping out. It was really nice. Nice to see her. And then moving on to the fourth episode. Um, meeting up with Kenji, and then what else? We see the DPW trucks with the dinosaurs, and then they have the Allosaurus, um, and then the Parasaurolophus herds, over the mountaintop. That was really beautifully done. Props to the animation team for and the lighting team. Like they did a really good job with doing that. Both in that aspect ratio change when it's showing Kenji in Brooklyn, and also just in the regular format. Um, and then yeah, poor Bumpy, she gets captured by the DPW, so not fun there. And then moving on to the next episode, um, Darius and Kenji, they're on the move because they find out from the previous episode with Daniel Kahn, who was in like a halfway home after being in prison for some time after the downfall of Manticore. Um, Basically, they're kind of trying to hash things out a little bit. Um, and it's kind of shocking. Like Kenji was more up to date with Darius's mom than Darius himself, which is kind of shocking. So, um, Darius, be more responsible, man. And then what else? Um, oh yeah. So when uh Sammy and Ben are at that ranch with Bobby Nublar, that guy. Um, oh, I think there's a point where they say "free the dinos," and I'm aware that there is a book coming out, a step into reading book coming out, called "Free the Dinos." I'm assuming that's going to be based on that. So yeah, and then let's see. It was also interesting that Ben couldn't trust Sammy for a bit, and it was interesting that he specifically focused more on her as a target, as a potential target or suspect, rather than the other camp fan members. So that was interesting. But then, they were able to hash things out eventually. Also, well done, Sammy. Your fighting skills really helped, especially, your roundhouse kicks and everything. Well done. Um, and let's see. So, Bobby Newblar's the we got a problem guy from the trailer, so good to know about that. And then we see with Kenji, um, he is talking to Daniel, about about the past and what this all means, and then trying to figure out what Daniel and Brooklyn were talking about before she died, in quotes. So yeah, basically Daniel is trying to, continue the legacy of his business and everything, and for his family, um, with all shady business work and everything, and Kenji does not want to be a part of that. Um, but then Daniel kind of comes to his senses and tries to reveal some stuff, but then the Atrociraptors come, and it was really sad that Daniel tried to sacrifice himself, tried to distract the Atrociraptors from getting Darius and Kenji, but Daniel Kahn was killed by the Atrociraptors, so it was really sad. And especially Kenji was kind of adamant about not speaking in Japanese to uphold like family pride, but like the ending, him saying dad in Japanese, that hurt. Um, And then moving on to the sixth episode, we get to see where what Yaz has been doing actively, and why she was avoiding calling Sammy. So you kind of hear more about that. Um, and she's been working on Dino immersion therapy. Brooklyn was in on on this as well, and she just kind of knows that yeah, is still just kind of taking it easy, taking it slow, trying to heal from her PTSD. And yeah, rightfully so. So, um, but yeah, Yaz is in Wyoming. So that's where the little sanctuary place is for kind of doing a little therapy area for people who are facing these traumatic events with dinosaurs, and I think it's a very cool concept. And then the dino immersion therapy with the holograms, that's also very cool. Um, and what else? Oh yeah, so the Beckel Spinax Savage not leaving survivors, and then Shocker, there were two. Um, and the DPW being in on this, that was a surprise. So, and like one of the characters from the first episode, he ended up being like a suspicious character. So, yeah. And then moving into the seventh episode, the guy who helped Darius and Kenji escape, he knows stuff, and coincidentally, he was there the night with where Brooklyn was with the Allosaurus and everything, and basically he he was just doing whatever overtime work, and little did he know that uh, his trailer got unlocked. I'm assuming remotely somehow, and the Allosaurus was unleashed into the woods, and Brooklyn supposedly was killed. And Mateo, he retrieved Brooklyn's phone, and then Darius later on showed up, and then saw the blood and assumed the worst. So yeah, and then moving back into the present, the other camp fam, in the water after nearly escaping one of the Beckel spine axes, the other one's still in the water. They get out, and basically go and what is it? They go and navigate in one of the trailers, and then just kind of stick around there. And then Darius and uh, Darius and Kenji, they find out from Brooklyn's phone that Brooklyn had a secret home, hideaway home, and they go in. They find out that the that Brooklyn's been using the Dino Tracker website, which we've seen in the Dominion marketing, which is very cool, and also the Dark Jurassic website. A little more information on that, and that Brooklyn was working with Daniel for potential money laundering reasons. I doubt it was for that. Like, there's probably something a little messy and sticky involved somewhere along the line there. But they kind of figure out from her notes and from her laptop that there's some drop point going on, so they decide to follow that lead because that's actively giving notifications to her, even though she's not there. So they end up going there, and it was also funny with Ben. He's tossing everyone's phones. Pretty hilarious. And with the eighth episode, the Beckel spine axe's detail up close was really, really good. They continue to do this with the animation style, and I really hope, the DreamWorks team, whoever's been animating these dinosaurs, they really get the credit where credit is due. Um, and then they do a little Fallen Kingdom reference, just like being in that trailer, kind of like how uh, Claire and Owen were when trying to retrieve the blood from the T-Rex. It was pretty similar to that. Um, but that was a little bit a little bit suspenseful, a little bit fun as well. And Darius and Kenji, they go to the drop point, and then they kind of reveal some more information that shock her. That after Kenji broke up with Brooklyn, um, then Darius developed feelings for her after she stayed with him for a bit. It never really manifested, but there were some signs, especially with the mini voicemails that he left her, and that was on her phone. Um, and then basically, um, where uh, Ben, Yaz, and Sammy arrive to. It's where they find Darius's boss when he used to work for the DPW. Um, and he's a very suspicious character as well, but he's oblivious to certain things. And they end up finding uh, Bumpy over there, which was really nice. But Bumpy is being transported everywhere that the DPW, the suspicious DPW characters are taking her. And the area kind of reminded me of Jurassic Park San Diego, which was a very interesting setup. So nice little Easter egg. Um, and then moving on to the ninth episode, Bumpy's in a lot of distress. Ben is assuming that she's dying. I assumed from the start that she's pregnant, and I was right. She was pregnant, and she laid an egg. And Sammy helped out with that. Um, and what else? In that the dock where they have all these shipping containers for the dinosaurs. They see that Big Edie is there, some velociraptors and whatnot. They also find out that they're shipping these dinosaurs to different parts of the world. So there was like Malaysia, Netherlands, Saudi Arabia, and Malta, and That's also a fun Easter egg too. You know what goes on in Malta with like the black market and everything. So that was interesting. Um, yeah, and then they kind of use the rock climbing skills to the test as well, just trying to narrowly escape uh, people and just kind of navigate the facility. And then with the final episode, we find out that Darius's former boss this for the DPW, he sent the Allosaurus actually to where Brooklyn was to send a message. He was involved in the Dark Jurassic threats and everything, so he was involved in trying to stop Brooklyn from, snooping around about this. But he was not involved with the Atrociraptors, so he has some wrongs on his belt, and he ends up getting karma when being attacked by the Atrociraptors and that Atrociraptor commanding lady. Um, and what else? So yeah, and then when things were getting really hectic, Mateo came back, and he was basically saying that he couldn't live with himself if he just let the kids just be by themselves. So he helped out, and then a lot of the dinosaurs got unlocked. Big Edie, when when she gets released, a nice little explosion shot, slow mo. I thought that was cool. It's fine. And then Darius bringing the Allosaurus. Some people say it's cheesy, but I thought it was a really cool shot, especially when it's fully out in effect rather than what we see in the trailer. I thought like with all the tension that was there, with like basically the Atrociraptors gaining on the rest of the Cam Fam and Mateo, Darius kind of helped out with that, and then basically um, after that, the Atrociraptors are all knocked out and they're just badly beaten up. And the uh, the creepy lady she returns and basically she's trying to command them, but the Atrociraptors are weak. So the lady is like, okay, we'll leave you for another day. And yeah, then they find out for the shipments that then a lot of these dinosaurs are going to some broker. And I think, uh, and I think it's justified that they're not going to be safe wherever they go. If they wanted to just settle, they have to kind of see through this and just stop whoever is like ultimately behind, the conspiracies and trying to end the nuclear six. So it's not over, and rightfully so. It's the end of the beginning, and then revealing to the end that uh one of the workers who was kind of like higher up to Darius during his time, she was actually in contact with Brooklyn, and Brooklyn is alive, and she lost part of her arm. So yeah, and we kind of see some info, from her Dark Jurassic searches and whatever, and what I also noticed was there is an image of Dubai. So if Saudi Arabia is one of those sites that they're shipping the dinosaurs, that could be where the shipment is, and I think that's where the Camp Fam is headed. So very cool setup. I think it's gonna make for a globe-trotting adventure. Um, Yeah, and I think Jurassic World Chaos Theory may kind of manages to do the primary focus on most more of the dinosaurs rather than the other aspects of genetic modification and genetic power. So I think being a little more dino-centric, I think that's kind of where a lot of people wanted, Dominion to kind of go to. So I think this is a very cool way to kind of show, and we'll see where it goes from here. And I hope that season two is just like swiftly renewed, even though we kind of know it's happening. Um, and other things, maybe for my hopes for the upcoming season or seasons is that maybe we don't immediately have them reunite with Brooklyn. And maybe some of the Camp Fam meet up with Brooklyn, some not. and maybe they split up and do separate missions, so it's just like a bit more variety, and then they just kind of all reunite, and then maybe towards the later seasons, they bring it back to the States, and then we kind of tie in, with Maisie and everything. I think right now there's no need to tie in with Maisie, Owen, and Claire. We could kind of just go about and then maybe see like other aspects, like the CIA was involved with in Dominion. Maybe we could see a little bit of that, but this is kind of what I wanted to see, a globe-trotting adventure, kind of just about to begin. So, yeah, Jurassic World Chaos Theory. Was a really fun watch. Um, Jurassic is thriving, and as a fan of this franchise, I think it's a solid entry. Probably my favorite season of just like all the Jurassic animated works, and I really hope that maybe DreamWorks considers like a film somewhere down the line. I doubt you know the likelihood is very low for that sort of thing, but I think with some of the interesting shots, the lighting, and like frame rate aspect ratio kind of changes, I think there's grounds for that. So yeah, it's worth checking out, and yeah, it's a fun time. So that is my spoiler review on Jurassic World Chaos Theory. You can watch it on Netflix. Um, yeah, go check it out. Thanks.